afternoon to all of you. The Kuppuswami Sastri Research Institute, along with the Sanskrit Academy MADRAS, is holding this endowment lecture. Every year we have been holding endowment lecture. Only for the past few years, we were holding all the endowment lectures in the seminar itself, because we have been conducting a lot of seminars and conferences. So today we are going to have the endowment in the name of one of the most respected persons who lived in Chennai, BRAHMASRI Anna Subramania. I think all of us know that he was very closely associated with Ramakrishna Mutt. And most of the books that were published by the Ramakrishna Mutt here bore the name of Anna, like that. And it is not one subject that he was dealing with. He was a master of so many subjects, whether it was Shakta or Mahabharata condensed edition. We don't know how he did it, 10,000 verses. Soundarya, anything for that matter. He has been doing so meticulously all these texts, and also he was deeply interested in the welfare of the students. And he did not hesitate to help any student, especially from the Vivekananda College. And there have been a lot of beneficiaries, and his Sishyas, followers, they decided to start an endowment at the Kuppuswami Sastri Research Institute in his memory. This is known as BRAHMASRI Anna Subramania IYER, BRAHMASRI Anna Subramania Chair, under which we were supposed to bring out books and take up projects on different subjects, especially on Vedas and Mimamsa. And we cannot find a better scholar than Professor SRINIVASAN, who was the head of the Department of Sanskrit as well as the principal of Vivekananda College here. And he is our teacher. Now he is teaching all of us here. And he is also conducting a lot of online classes for the Madras Sanskrit College. And he is giving a lot of lectures either in person or online, both at the national level and international level. It's very difficult to say in which subject he is a specialist, though his PhD was on ADVAITA under Professor Vinathan. But he is well versed in almost all schools of Indian philosophy, both Astika system and Nastika system, as well as whether it is literature, language, grammar, Alankara Shastra, name it. So we always used to say that he is a walking encyclopedia. Any reference that we ask, he will be able to give us. And in the Madras, Sanskrit Academy Madras, another endowment was created in the name of respected Sri Anna Subramania IYER, known as Anna Subramania IYER Centenary Endowment. We used to have a lot of lectures in that. I remember listening to the Swamijis of Ramakrishna Mutt and other eminent people here in this very hall on different subjects. So both the chair as well as the endowment pertain to Sri Anna Subramania IYER. And aptly, Professor Srinivasan has chosen the topic Devi Bhagavatam, which Sri Anna was so familiar with, and being well versed in Advaita, he has chosen the topic Advaita in Devi Bhagavatam. And we are thankful to Sri Atreya sir, his family members, and our grandson of Sri Anna is here. He used to come for all the lectures. He is also here. And the disciples of Sri Anna Subramania here. And I am sure many more are joining in the live stream, those who could not make it. So live stream is also available. So they would be watching live this endowment lecture. And Dr. Srinivasan would be talking, as I told you, on Advaita in Devi Bhagavatam. I thank him profusely for accepting this. And only yesterday we got the information from the Central Sanskrit University. He has been appointed as the Sastri Chudamani professor at the KSRI, which is nothing great for his caliber or stature. He has been holding this chair till now, and maybe he will hand over this to somebody else, and he will take up that Sastra Chudamani, and he will be guiding many of us here. Already we are having Mimamsa Paribhasha, we are studying under him, though I don't know how much we are able to grasp. So the felicity with which he is able to bring out the salient features of any subject that he is taking is something to be cherished and appreciated. And with the due respects, I now request Professor Srinivasan to deliver his talk on Advaita in Devi Bhagavatam. Thank you, sir.
I have to be thankful to Brahmasri Anna for, during his tenure in Vivekananda College as president of the management committee, I attended the interview to join as a lecturer, and I was selected and I joined. Kekradha? Louder lang konjam kashtamā irukum. During his tenure as president of the management committee of Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda College, the interview was conducted to select a lecturer, and under his leadership I was selected. And I was student of Professor V.R. Kalyan Sundar Sastrigal, and Kalyan Sundar Sastrigal and Anna had very close relationship. That relationship was like very, very close. In fact, they used to exchange lots of notes and text translation, etc. Valuthur Rajagopala Sarma, in almost all the books of Anna's work in Ramakrishna Math, you might have seen in the last paragraph, we thank Brahmasri Valuthur Rajagopala Sarma who has proofread and corrected and all those things. Valuthur Rajagopala Sarma, Kuppuswami Sastrigal and Kalyan Sundar Sastrigal, these three people studied together from the beginning till the end. That is, they started their Vedic studies in Raja Veda Padasala, all of them from Varahur. Of course, Valuthur is from Valuthur, and other two were from Varahur. And they went to Raja Veda Padasala in Kumbakonam. They studied there. From there, they were under the tutelage of Yajnaswami Sastrigal, Mahamahopadhyaya Yajnaswami Sastrigal, grandson of Manargudi Periva. And he sent them here. They were under Karungulam Krishna Sastrigal, and from here they went to Vapatur Vaidyanatha Sastrigal. So they studied Sahitya Shiromani, Vedanta Shiromani and all these things together. And Anna also had interaction with them, not at the time, later. But S.R. Krishnamurti Sastrigal also happened to be the batchmate of these Sastrigal at Madras Sanskrit College. And there was one Janaki Rama IYER who was living in Murthy Street in Westmambalam, and another one K.N. Subramaniam who happened to be bachelor throughout, and he studied, specialized in Yoga Vasishta. So this K.N. Subramaniam, Janaki Rama IYER and Anna Subramanian, all the people studied with S.R. Krishnamurti Sastrigal. Many of the books, Advaita Siddhi and all those books they have studied. Thus, the relationship between the Sastrigal, the studies, etc., it spans. And since I have connected, I used to meet them, not for studying and all those things, just for what is called chit-chat or for whiling away time, etc. They used to spare some informations. This is how I knew. And Anna Subramanian also had connection with N. Srinivasacharya, who was the son of Maharishi Vasudevacharya, who established Ramakrishna Mission schools. And thus, they used to spare many of the anecdotes. But one difference between me and KSB, Balasubramanian, is he used to remember all the anecdotes, but I used to remember only the names. And many of the anecdotes I don't remember. So let me pass. At least I have the pleasure of remembering those people. So in this way, I too had chance to meet Anna Subramanian here. And as had been said by, there is no area which has not been touched by him. He has translated almost, that is the Prasthanatraya. Brahma Sutra, Prasthanatraya is called Upanishad Prasthana, Shruti Prasthana, Smriti Prasthana and Nyaya Prasthana. So, but the important point is, it is not a literal rendering, it is not a literal translation, it is not a total translation. Just like Sankshepa Sharirika, what is more important points, what is relevant points, what we are supposed to know, those passages he has selected, he has rendered them. He has given those passages and the meaning of those passages he has given. And notes also, that is the most important point. The notes also, that is the Adikuripu, abdin solluvom illaya, the Tayumanavar and all those things. Quotations from Ramalinga Swamigal, Tayumanavar and all Tamil literature. Of course, other Sanskrit literature is very much there, but Tamil literature quotation also is there. But the most important aspect in Anna's commentary is, he said, Ramakrishna's Upadesams and his life happened to be the commentary of all the sacred canons. Hence, he called all his commentaries Ramakrishna Deepam. He has not given any other name, Ramakrishna Deepam, and he explained how Ramakrishna's Upadesams and the Ramakrishna's life explained each and every point. So, in this way, the Upanishadic doctrines as borne out by the life and teachings of Ramakrishna. So, Anna's commentary is not a simple commentary of Upanishads or Gita or something like that. So, Anna's commentary on this Prasthanatraya is life, and that is Upanishadic teachings as borne out by and as exemplified by Ramakrishna's life and teachings. In this way, he has presented, and he is the direct disciple of Shivananda. Shivananda is the fourth president and the direct disciple of Swami Ramakrishna. So, in this way, that lineage continues, and he also given Shakta Diksha, because recently you might have heard, there was one lecture in Sanskrit college, Brahma Vidya, Sri Vidya, Brahma Vidyaiva. So Sri Vidya is nothing other than Brahma Vidya itself, because Sri Vidya just centers around Brahma Vidya. That's why in our Sankara Mets, there is a Sri Vidya Puja, Navavarana Puja, etc. becomes a center concept of it. And of course, he has not only Prasthanatraya, he has translated 108 Upanishads also. That is minor Upanishads. We call it minor Upanishads. We call it minor because each and every Upanishad concentrates on particular point. Other Upanishad becomes Shastraic Upanishads. These Upanishads are like Prakarana Upanishads. They concentrate on particular point. Hence they are called minor Upanishads. They also have been rendered, and other books, that is 3 important books. Ramayana, Mahabharata, he has simplified them. Ramayana Sara and Mahabharata Sara and Devi Bhagavata Sara. That also, Devi Bhagavatam is in 12 skandhas as in Srimad Bhagavatam, and Devi Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavatam, both of them have got 18,000 verses. Srimad Bhagavatam has got 335 chapters, whereas Devi Bhagavatam has got 318 chapters. Anna had simplified it, and he had simplified it in 6,000 verses. And he had simplified it not just for the sake of simplification. It is not giving some ideas or anything like that. Srimad Bhagavatam and Ramayana, we have got the tradition of Saptaha Krama. That is, within 7 days we do the Parayanam of Bhagavatam. Bhagavata Parayanam, Bhagavata Saptaha Parayanam is an important concept. In the same way, Devi Bhagavata, there is the tradition of Navaha Krama. So within 9 days, Devi Bhagavata is to be completed, that is to be studied. So now what, I mean, as in Devi Mahatmya, you have got Prathama Charita, Dvitiya Charita, Tritiya Charita, etc. But there are more Charitas also. Not only these 3 Charitas, that is, Prathama Charita is Madhukaitaba, and Dvitiya Charita is Mahishasuravada, and the third one is Sumbhavada. But Devi Bhagavata has got Vritrasuravada, and all those other details also, other Antakasura, and I mean some other Vadas also. So thus, Devi Bhagavata has got more importance compared to Devi Mahatmya. It is studied within 9 days. Now what Anna has done is, he has published it in 3 volumes. So the first volume is the first 3 days, what is called, what is to be studied, up to 5th skandha. And the second volume is the next 3-day Parayana. And the third volume is the last 3-day Parayana. In this way, he has arranged the Parayana, and it starts with how the Panchapuja, Lamityadi Panchapuja, Devi Bhagavata, all those things are there. That is the Devi Gayatri. As you have in Kalika Purana, the Gayatri for Kali, Jayanti, Mangala Kali, Bhadrakali, Kapalini, Durga Bhavani Kshamadhatri, Durga Siva Kshamadhatri, Swaha Swada Namostute. In the same way, in Devi Bhagavata, Sarva Chaitanya Rupam Tam Adyam Vidyam Cha Dhimihi Buddhim Yanah Prachodayat is the Gayatri for Devi. So Devi Bhagavata starts with this particular Gayatri, and this Gayatri happens to be the complete Lamityadi Panchapuja, etc. So everywhere you find this particular Gayatri getting repeated. So this Gayatri happens to be the base and the bedrock of Advaita. That's why it starts. Sarva Chaitanya Rupam Tam Adyam Vidyam Cha Dhimahi Buddhim Yanah Prachodayat. So, as in ordinary Gayatri, Savitri. So, Buddhim Yanah Prachodayat, that goddess who kindles our Buddhi, Adya Vidya, she is considered to be Adya Vidya, the first one. And not only that, Sarva Chaitanya Rupa, she is called Chaitanya Rupa. In all other philosophies, Chaitanya happens to be the guna of goddess. Whereas in Advaita, Chaitanya is the Rupa. Chaitanya is the Swarupa. So, goddess is described as Sarva Chaitanya Swarupa herself. So, Sarva Chaitanya Rupam Tam. So, in the very first verse, very first prayer, very first Gayatri, the very first invocation, which happens to be done to goddess, that itself describes how it is what is called, it happens to be the basis of Advaita. So, Om Sarva Chaitanya Rupam Tam Sarva Chaitanya Rupa Adyam Vidyam Cha Dhimahi Buddhim Yanah Prachodayat. And then prayer starts. The prayer is like this. Sorry, you have to bear with me. I have some problem. Srishtvakilam Jagadidam Satasat Swarupam Shaktya Swaya Trigunaya Paripati Viswam Samhritya Kalpa Samaye Ramate Tataika Tam Sarva Vishwa Jananim Manasa Smarami. So this is the prayer for goddess. How the prayer is described? Srishtvakilam Jagadidam. So normally all god and goddesses are described as the creators. So Srishtvakilam Jagadidam Sadasat Swarupam. Sadasat Swarupam means both visible and invisible things. So Sadasat Swarupam Jagat Srishtva Shaktya Swaya, that is a problem. Shaktya Swaya. So, Swaya Shaktya, but in Anna's book, Shaktyatmaya. So, this is the Pata, this is the Gita Press Pata. Shaktya Swaya is the Gita Press edition. Shaktyatmaya is Ramakrishna Math Anna's edition. Atmaya, Atma Shakti. So, Atma Shakti means Shakti, that is the problem with Advaita. In all the other things, Shakti may be a separate Padartha or Shakti may be a characteristic. But in Advaita, Shakti, that is the most important. That is throughout this Devi Bhagavata, the characteristic of Shakti is being described, that is being presented. Shakti, whether different or non-different. If you take Shakti as non-different, then it becomes one and the same, they are not different. If you take it as different, then it becomes a characteristic, it becomes a guna, then guna guni bhava problem will be there. So how you have to take Shakti? Shakti is taken in Advaita as bhinna bhinna. That is, you cannot identify Shakti with or you cannot differentiate it. Shakti is sadasat swarupa, bhinna bhinna swarupa. That is the special characteristic in Advaita. That's how Shakti is being presented. So, Shaktya Swaya, Shaktya Atmaya, Atma Shakti. That is a non-different factor. So, Shaktyatmaya, Trigunaya, and the Triguna. And the Triguna concept is somewhat different from Sankhya. This is being described later. If time permits, I will touch it. It is different from Sankhya. In Sankhya, you have got Triguna. That is, Sankhya describes 24 Padarthas, Prakriti, and then 7 Padarthas, Prakriti Vikriti, and then Shodasakascha Vikaraha. These are described. But the Prakriti and the 7 Padarthas, they have the Triguna, but the word Triguna is only in terminology. Triguna is only in terminology. There, for these 8 Padarthas, it is not guna. Prakriti is not consisting of 3 gunas. The 3 gunas, the 3 strands of Prakriti. So, Prakriti is not an object in which 3 guna incur. It is not like that. The 3 gunas constitute Prakriti. That's why it is called Tattvantara Parinama. In the first 8 characteristic, the 3 guna is called Dravya. The second 16 characteristic, Triguna is called Guna. So, the latter characteristic in Sankhya, latter characteristic it is Guna. In the first 8, that's why in Shankara's Prasnopanishad Bhashya also you can see Tattvantara Parinama. The word Tattvantara Parinama, you can find it in Sankhya Karika and all the books. So, Tattvantara means it happened to be Dravya. It is a fundamental Padartha. But later on it becomes Guna. How it becomes Guna? Janamejaya asks, I am just skipping. Back and forth we have to go. I cannot go step by step. Janamejaya asks one question. If Indra had done 100 Ashwamedha Yagas, and if Indra had developed himself so much to become Indra, he is Purandara. His original name is, first name is Purandara. Indra is only a post. If he were to be chosen Indra, how come he commits some mistakes? That is, he did not deal with the Mahalakshmi's prasada given to him by Durvasa, and that's why they lost everything. And Kshirabdi Mathana and all those things have to be done. That is described in detail in Vishnu Purana. So now what happened? How come Indra's avan buddhiye eppadi kettu ponom appdin Janamejayam kekran. Adu mattum illa. It is not only that. Not only Indra's buddhi is spoiled. Vasishta is cursing somebody, in turn Vasishta gets cursed, Vishwamitra and Vasishta are quarreling. All these people are called Brahma Rishis, Maharishis, great Rishis and all those things. They should be what is called, these positions could be what is called got only after great tapas, after great personal quality. How come these people develop such what is called such traits, which you find it in an ordinary human being? Sometimes they appear to be lower than ordinary human being. How is it possible? Say, the Srimad Bhagavata is described by Shuka to Parikshit, whereas this Devi Bhagavata is presented by Vyasa to Janamejaya. It is post-Mahabharata episode actually. After Parikshit's death, Janamejaya, when he was about to perform Sarpayaga, at the end of the Sarpayaga, the problem comes and then Vyasa starts describing all the things. Then Janamejaya poses so many questions. One question is how it happens. Then he says, It is not Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. It is interaction of Sattva Guna and Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. When people say developed Sattva Guna, it is not pure Sattva Guna. They have got too much of Rajo Guna also. So it is Sattva Guna mixed with Rajo Guna. Since it is Sattva Guna mixed with Rajo Guna, their Sattva Guna is only Dambika. It is only to pose. It is only to get money, or it is only to get name and fame. In that way it becomes a Sattva, but it is not purely for the development. Purely for the development, few devotees have done it. So in this way, there are lots of what is called interaction between these gunas. So there are more Rajo Guna and more Tamo Guna than Sattva Guna. So Sattva Guna, one aspect is there. And now there are three Shaktis which are being described. These Shaktis are Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti and Dravya Shakti. These are as described in Sankhya. Jnana Shakti is Sattva Guna, Kriya Shakti is Rajo Guna, Dravya Shakti is Tamo Guna. In Tamo Guna it is called Bhutadi. So Vaiharika, Rajasika and Bhutadi, it is how Sankhya people will describe. Bhutadi means it is responsible for the creation of the... Tamo Guna is responsible for creation of all inert matter. Sattva Guna is responsible for all sense organs. But that's how, that is Sattva Guna creates both organs of sense and organs of action. But in Devi Bhagavata, Sattva Guna creates the organs of sense. Organs of action is created by Rajo Guna. Whereas Rajo Guna in Sankhya philosophy is responsible for keeping Sattva Guna and Tamo Guna together and active. Because without Rajo Guna they cannot act. So Sattva Rajo Guna makes them act, but that is a difference here. Okay, this is how Devi Bhagavatam presents the three gunas, whereas we find Sankhya philosophy, that sort of difference. That's a later point, but I have just Saktya Swaya Trigunaya. So when the Triguna point comes, I thought that I can immediately just touch it. Saktya Swaya Trigunaya Paripati Vishwam. She is what is called, the entire world is controlled by these, the interplay of these three gunas. Samhritya kalpa samaye ramate tataika. This is as in Brihadaranyaka. Tasmad ekakina ramate. When Srishti starts, Tasmad ekakina ramate. But when Pralaya comes, it goes back. So, Samhritya kalpa samaye. She takes back the whole universe within her. And what happens? After taking the whole universe, ekaki ramate. She remains alone. There is no one apart from her, along with her. She is the one, she is the supreme, she is alone. In other philosophies, that aloneness is not there. So you can understand the concept of, she is going to describe it. I will immediately come to it. How she is alone, that point. So now, Tam Sarva Vishwa Jananim. Tam Sarva Vishwa Jananim. That's the most important point again. Sarva, all. Vishwa, universe. So one word is enough. Then why she is using the word Sarva and Vishwa? This Devi Bhagavatam introduces the concept of multiverse. We have only the concept of universe, but this has the concept of multiverse. When Madhukaitaba were killed, I am jumping. I cannot go on describing everything within the time frame. So when Madhukaitaba were killed, Vishnu and Brahma, they wanted to know what is the power and all those things. At that time, the Nidra Devi of Vishnu appeared and the goddess also appeared there. She said, I will now give you a plane and say, we have in the cinemas, we have seen time travel. Time travel, we see it in our Puranas also. Kakudmi. Kakudmi had gone in Krita Yuga to Brahmaloka, and when he has returned in Dwapara Yuga, Kakudmi was 18 feet high and all the people were just 5 feet. So it was a time travel you can find even in Mahabharata and Bhagavata and all those things. But not only time travel, you find place travel also. Manidvipa is unbearably far away. And the Manidvipa, you cannot even measure it, what is called in the modern, in the light years. How many light years you can't even imagine, because it traverses multiple universes. And Vishnu and Brahma and Shiva, they see Vishnu and Brahma and Shiva in each and every universe. They travel so many universes, so there is Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva in one universe, and in next universe there is another Vishnu and Brahma, Shiva. They get confused whether we are seeing it in a mirror or whether we are seeing it in something else. So in every universe they see Vishnu, Brahma and Shiva like that. So finally these three, the original Madhukaitaba killers, they have gone to Manidvipa, and as usual, பொம்பளை பார்த்தா நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும், கொஞ்சம் ஆம்பளைகளுக்கெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் இதுவாக தான் இருக்கணும் இல்லையா, மேல் சாவனிசம் should be there. So these three people also entertained somewhat. இது என்ன ஒரு லேடியாக இருக்காளேன்ட்டு. Next moment these three people were converted into ladies. And they were what is called flabbergasted. என்னடா இது இந்த மாதிரி suddenly we have become ladies, and who am I, what is my mind, what I am thinking. So totally lost. That sort of absolute control. Not only that, she made even Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, what is called obey what she wanted in her mind. That's how she said. And then finally, when they prayed, she taught them Navakshari. After Navakshari, Shiva, what is called, they prayed, and finally they were restored. Okay, blah blah, all those things. So you understand now the concept of the multiverse, how they traveled and all those things. This is how the starts. But our Brahma gets a doubt. If you are the creator, we say that you are associated with Parameshwara, or you and Parameshwara are one, or are you and Parameshwara two different things? Are you two different people, two different entities, two different concepts, or both of you one? Because Veda says, Ekameva Advitiyam. Veda says, Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. And if Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma were to be the real Vedic sentence can never go mithya. Since Vedic sentence should be true, and we think what is called that man, that is the creator, should be man. You are a woman. Are you his spouse? Are you woman, or are you man, or are you neither? Who are you? What is your position? What is your relationship with him? Are you really one, or are you multiple? Something. Brahma gets this doubt. She quietly, what is called, she is not furious. She answers, we people are neither man, aham na puman, na stri, na klibam, all those things. We are transcendental, we are above all those things. I am the Shakti of that Paramatma, Adya Shakti. There she describes, all these things are there. I have the quotations, but I am not quoting. I am just covering the points. And she says, that is, the Adya Shakti, it has divided itself into two. Pum Stri Rupena. This is there in Brihadaranyaka. Tasmad Ekaki na Ramate. So the Ardha Brihalam, the concept of Ardha Brihalam in the first Adhyaya, it comes. It divides itself into two, as man and woman. That's why we also call woman as a better half. In the same way, it divides man and woman. And Pum Shakti becomes Vishnu and Upadana Karana. And Stri Shakti becomes the Shakti of that Parameshwara. So that Shakti of Parameshwara, and it is responsible for all the creations. So in this way, these are one and the same thing. Since it happened to be the Shakti, it cannot be two different things. So it is two. That is, in Pum Bhava, it is Upadana Karana. In Stri Shakti Bhava, it is Shakti operating everything. There, in the Trimurti Varnana, there are important chapters like Prakriti Varnana, Trimurti Varnana, Murti Rahasya. Like that, there are a few chapters. In that chapter, it says, Agnerya Dahika Chaktihi Chandrasya Yatha Prabha. As the power of heat in fire, as the power of light in moon, there is the power. I am the power in everything. Without me, Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shaktah Prabhavitam. So I am the power. That power is there everywhere. That power makes everything act. So that power one has to understand. She describes all these things in the third volume. It is there in the Murti Rahasya, that comes as the Murti Rahasya. There the points are described. So there are no 2 points, there are no 2 differences, it is only power. As you see the power, as the power cannot be differentiated, so also I can be seen. And this sort of Advaita can be seen in Puranas also. There is a beautiful book in 1956, I suppose, when the Advaita Sabha Diamond Jubilee was celebrated. Mahaperiva asked all the scholars to what is called write how Advaita idea is there in each and every book. That is Advaita in Ramayana, Advaita in Mahabharata, etc. like that. So all the scholars have come out with a book, come out with those ideas, and those articles have been collected together, and those articles have been published together. One of the beautiful books. That book is called Advaita Akshara Malika. I think I am right. In that Advaita Akshara Malika, Vishnu Purana, because Vishnu Purana is considered to be Purana Ratna. That is considered to be essentially the gospel for difference. But in Vishnu Purana, one of the mantra, the sloka is Vibheda Janake Jnane Nasham Atyantikam Gate Atmano Brahmano Bedam Asantam Kim Karishyati. Vibheda Janake Ajnane. Ajnana, say Vibheda. Beda means Beda, difference. And how the Beda is created? Beda is created by Ajnana. Without Ajnana, Beda will not be there. There is a reason for myself quoting Vishnu Purana verse here. Vibheda Janake Ajnane. So that Ajnana, which is responsible for creating this Beda, Nasham Atyantikam Gade. When that Ajnana has been destroyed, lock, stock and barrel, Atyantikam Gade, Atmano Brahmano Bedam. The difference between Jiva and Parabrahman, Asantam. That Beda is not there. Because when Ajnana is lost, Beda also is lost. Atmano Brahmano Bedam, Asantam. Kim Karishiti, who will make that Beda? Now, Goddess Ambal says here, where does this Beda come? When the creation comes, without Beda, the creation cannot be understood. And then at the time of creation, Beda is imagined by, Beda is thought of by our Kalpana. So, just now I said, Brahma asked the question, where is the difference? Are you and the Parabrahman? You are called Parabrahma Mahishi. That Parabrahman, which is the substratum, Ashraya, are you both one and the same? That's why in Devi Bhagavata, the word used is for Parabrahman, Ashraya. She is used as the Ashraya. She is not used as anything else. Ashraya means what is? How can there be a difference between Ashraya and Ashrita? They cannot be differentiated. It is not like what is called a grammatical Adharadeya Bhava. So, there the concept of Beda is imagined. So, that imagination is Kalpanika. So, at the time of creation, the Kalpanika Beda, it comes into force. And that is of course there. And then you can ask the question, if that is Kalpanika, what is responsible for that Kalpana? Who makes that Kalpana? Who imagines? There should be one person to imagine. There should be a Jiva to imagine. So Jiva should be existing. Who created that Jiva? Was that Jiva existing? That is, it comes back to the question of first creation. So, how come the first creation has come into existence? When there is the first creation, whether the first man, Adam, whether the Adam has got karma or not. If the Adam has got karma, where from this karma has come into Adam in our language, Swayambhuva Manu. So, where come the Swayambhuva Manu has got that karma? So, this question, the creation, the first man, the first karma, all these things. But in our concept, the question of first does not arise at all. There is no first at all. Why? First means concept of time, concept of space. All our ideas, all our concepts, all our thinking is based on three factors: space, time and matter. Without space we can't think. That is, whatever we think, whatever we communicate, it pertains to some space, some time, something. And now what happens, when I say some space, time, some reference, because my communication is always in present tense. If it is a past tense is experience, past experience. Future tense is my imagination. So future is not there, past is not there. What is existing is present. And the present can be communicated only through place and time. So when the place and time is there, place and time must have come into existence. When the place and time come into existence, place and time must have come into existence through Maya. Maya should already be there. When the Maya is there, how can you explain the origin or how can you explain the creation of Maya? If you have to explain it, you have to explain it in terms of space and time. So if you have to explain it in space and time, there should be another Maya. For that, another Maya. So it is regress. So now what happens? You cannot have space and time and all those things. You cannot explain. Maya, Brahman, all these things defy and they transcend. They defy and they transcend our concepts, our ideas. That's why it is being presented in Advaita, Jiva Isho Vishuddha Chit Tatha Jiveshayor Bida Avidya Tachitor Yogaha Shadasmaka Manadayaha. These 6 concepts can never be explained. They are all transcendental. They don't come within your knowledge. They don't come. Say, for example, you dream. When you start dreaming, can you say when the dream starts? Because when you start explaining the dream, when you want to explain the beginning of the time of the dream, it should be in Jagrat time. Jagrat and dream are 2 different levels. So if you explain it in Jagrat time, it is not beginning of dream. And when you go into dream, already you are within dream time. There is no beginning at all. So from the point of Jagrat, no beginning of dream. From the point of dream, no beginning at all. So these defy our knowledge. That's why these 6 things, Jiva Isho, that is the Jiva, you cannot say when Jiva has started, Ishaha, Lord God, Vishuddha Chite, Nirguna Brahman, Tatha Jiveshayor Bida. There is absolutely, many people ask the question, in Advaita, how come Adi Shankara writes stotras? Because Advaita says there is only one entity, there is no multiple entities at all, and Jiva becomes one with whoever he may be. Jiva becomes one with, and if Jiva were to become one with the God, if I am worshipping or if I am doing stotras, am I worshipping myself or am I doing any archana to myself? Shankara never said Jiva becomes one with God. Jiva becomes one with Nirguna Brahman. Jiva never becomes one with God. Say, in last Adhikarana in Brahma Sutra, it is called Jagat Vyapara Varjam. There is absolutely no identity with God at all. God is always God, always supreme. நான் கேட்குற இந்த பசங்கள்லாம் கேட்குற கேள்விக்கு வந்து ரொம்ப சிம்பிளாக, கேள்வி கொஞ்சம் அசிங்கமாக இருக்கும், பட் வேறு வழி இல்லை. நான் வந்து காடோட ஒன்றாயிடுவேன்னா நீ உடனே லக்ஷ்மிபதி ஆகிடுவியா அப்படின்னு தான் கேட்கணும். என்ன பகவான் வந்து என்ன ஆகும், அவர் ஒருத்தர் தான் லக்ஷ்மிபதி, அவர் ஒருத்தர் தான் உமாபதி, அவர் ஒருத்தர் தான் பாரதிபதியாக இருக்க முடியும், வேறு யாரும் முடியாது. பகவான்கிற சிருஷ்டி ஸ்திதி சம்ஹாரம் பகவான் தான் பண்ணுறான், வேறு யாரும் பண்ணுறதில்ல. நம்ம பகவானோட ஒன்றாகல்ல. ஆல்வேஸ் there is a difference between God and man. We become one with Nirguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman is something different from Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman is always supreme. We have to worship Saguna Brahman. And அதை வந்து வித்யாரண்யர் வந்து ரொம்ப அழகாக சொல்லுவார். கிருத்தோபாஸ்திகா அகிருத்தோபாஸ்திகான்னு 2 இது இருக்குது. கிருத்தோபாஸ்திகா, those people who worship God and through God's grace who take Advaita Jnana. ஈஸ்வரானுகிரகாதேவ பும்சாம் அத்வைத வாசனா. இதே மாதிரி தான் அது அஃப்கோர்ஸ் பாலு மே நோ இட் பெட்டர். இதில் அது பேர் என்ன, யோக சூத்திரத்தில் there are 7 or 8 methods. அஷ்டாங்க யோகா ஆசன தரஹா, that is quicker process of achieving the result in Ashtanga Yoga. What is that quicker process? Many quicker process. One quicker process is Ishwaranugraha. That is, and the idurku parango, Ishwara klesa karma vipaka asayihi aparam angadam. In that context, he describes klesa karma vipaka asayihi aparamrishta purusha visheshaha Ishwaraha. Tad visheshaha tadartha tasya vachaka pranavaha tajapas tadartha bhavanam and all those things. There, by worshipping Ishwara, Ishwara is also presented in Niyama. So, Ishwara worship also is there very much in many of the contexts. Through Ishwara worship, we can accept it. So, through Ishwara worship, the process can become quicker, the results can be achieved. But Ishwara is different. He has to be worshipped. There is no question of becoming one with Ishwara. In this way it is presented. So there, as I said, Vibheda Janaka Jnane, Goddess also says that at the time of creation, the imagination comes to forth. Since there is no first birth or first origination or one first, etc., there is no question of what is called, what is the origin, how it started, when it started, all those things, but it comes into forth. This is how it is being presented, and there also, you might have heard in Devi Mahatmyam, Aparajita Stotra, Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu, Buddhi Rupena, Sruti Rupena, Samskrita, all those things. The same thing of Aparajita Stotra, something like that, Kirti Sruti Smritir Meda Gati, Smriti Gati, etc., is presented in here also. That is in Devi Bhagavata also, but not in that particular matter. Goddess is there everywhere in this particular fashion like that. While presenting that particular concept, that is in the particular concept of Aparajita Stotra, there she says, Bhaga, what is Bhaga? That is Aishwarya, Yasas, all these things are called Bhaga, and she becomes Bhagavati. And only two people are called Bhaga. One is Bhagavan, that is Lord Vishnu, and another one is Bhagavati, that is Goddess. And hence, the work pertaining to these two people are called Bhagavatam. So, Vishnu's work is called Srimad Bhagavatam, and the work pertaining to Devi is called Devi Bhagavatam. These two people, Bhagavati he saw, that is the word used by Bhagavati he saw. That's why in Lalita Sahasranama starts with Sri Mata, Sri Maharagni, Srimad Simhasaneswari. There it describes Aishwarya Rupini. So Goddess is referred, Goddess is presented as Aishwarya Rupini, and she being Aishwarya Rupini, Shannam Bhaga Yidirana. Bhaga has got two meanings. That is Srishti. That is the Srishti, Samhara, Jnana, Ajnana, Jivanam, Agatim, Gatim. These six are called Bhaga. Aishwarya Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yasasasriyaha, Jnana, Vairagyayos Chaiva. Shannam Bhaga Idirana. So these six qualities and six characteristics are called Bhaga, and this Bhaga is called presented, is supposed to be present in Goddess as well as in Vishnu. Hence they are called Bhagavan and Bhagavati. So the word Bhagavati only applies to her, the word Bhagavan applies only to him. There is the word grammatically in Sanskrit, the word Siva Bhagavata also is there. Technically it is not technically, it is used. That is the devotees of Shiva. In the sense of devotees of Shiva, the word Siva Bhagavata. How Siva Bhagavata, is it justifiable, explainable, etc., etc. It is a long discussion in grammar, because the word Bhagavata is exclusively reserved to Vishnu and Ambal. So there Goddess herself says, in the context of Aparajita Stotra, but it is not called Aparajita Stotra in Devi Bhagavata, it is called Aparajita Stotra in Devi Mahatmya. It is similar to Aparajita Stotra. She is referred to as Bhagavati, and how it is being presented as Bhagavata. That sort of description is there very much. So, this particular thing. And the concept of Dvasuparna, Sayuja, Sakaya, those, how Goddess is the one who is helping and guiding, those are the things which are being used very much. And another important concept which we have to know, I wanted to refer. Say, language is not always static. Language is organic. It is changing. It is evolving. What is a language today? What is Ananda Vigadan in 1950 is not same in now. That language has changed. Some people may not be able to read the 1950 Ananda Vigadan onda. 1940 சினிமாவை பார்த்தா நம்மளால என்ஜாய் பண்ண முடியுமோ? Whatever is joke in 1940s, whatever நம்ம விழுந்து விழுந்து சிரிச்சிருப்போம். நான் இல்லை, நம்மளுக்கு எனக்கு முன்னாடி இருந்த தலைவரி அவள் வந்து விழுந்து விழுந்து சிரிச்சிருப்பா. இன்றைக்கி இதுக்கெல்லாம் போய் சிரிக்கிறாளே அப்படின்னு நம்மளுக்கு என்ன ஆகும்? We are not able to enjoy. So, the concept of what happens to be joke, what happens to be language, how we understand, all these things changes. Because language is evolving, language is organic, language is changing. It is not language is organic, evolving or changing. It is our standard of life also is changing. And language cannot be something new every now and then. Because my language, say for example, இன்னைக்கு பேனாவை நம்ம என்ன சொல்கிறோம்? We call it lekini. But originally the word lick means it is a nail to carve out something. கல்லில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அந்த கல்லை உடைச்சு அதை எடுத்துட்டு அந்த இடத்துல பள்ளம் பண்ணுறோம் இல்லையா? பள்ளம் பண்ணுறதுக்கு உபயோகப்படுற அந்த சிசில் இருக்கு பாருங்க. That chisel is called lekini. So it is called lick to mean chisel out. அந்த காலத்தில் கல்லில் எழுதிட்டு இருந்தோம். பனை ஓலையிலையும் சிசிலிங் அவுட் தான். ஏன்னா கீரி தான் எடுக்கணும். பனை ஓலையில் என்ன பண்ணணும்? கீறணும். கீரி அந்த இடத்த பள்ளம் பண்ணணும். ஸோ சிசிலிங் அவுட் changed to scratching. And later on what happened? When papers came and then we started using pens, ink started passing it. So it is impression. Instead of chiseling out, taking out material, ink is impression is pressed on papers. Now what happened? You cannot have new words for each and everything. Same lekini we use for everything. But இன்னைக்கு போய் லேக்கினா chisel, carving out nail அப்படின்னா யாருக்காவது தெரியுமோ? Today we understand, by the word nail we understand pen. But through learn, I don't know whether he would have understood it like that. So in this way change is there, but if Veda were to change, then the original meaning of spirituality, religion, continuity, etc. would have been totally lost. So there should be some permanency, there should be some continuity. It is not permanency or continuity, it is the mechanism to continue. That is more important. There should be some mechanism to continue. So we will understand what Vasishtha has understood, we will understand what Krishna has understood, we will understand what kings have understood, and we will understand what we understand. So there should be a continuity, and for that continuity there should be some effort on our part. That's why they say paroksha priya ivahi devaha. That is, everything is preferred in coded and concealed language. There is an effort, and when you try to open the coded and concealed language, new ideas, but it is not new ideas to suit your changed and standard of living, to understand it in your way. So paroksha priya ivahi devaha. So now, how to understand it? The clue is in Itihasas and Puranas. So the Itihasas and Puranas, even though they are old stories, those stories give us the same ideas, give us some ideas to understand it in present way. That's why you find it, Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Samupabrimhayet. That is, elaborate. That is, try to understand, try to interpret in terms of Itihasa and Purana. Vedamata says, Alpashruta. Alpashruta means one who had studied Veda alone and not Itihasa Purana. Bibheti, she is afraid. Mamayam pratarishyati. Pratarishyati is not a simple future tense, he may. Pratarishyati is a sure tense, he is bound to misinterpret me. Hence, those who have not studied Puranas should not study Veda at all. So first step is study Purana and then go to Veda. So Veda is called Prabhu Samhita, Puranas are called Sukrit Samhita. In this way, we have to proceed. So Paroksha Priya Ivahi Devaha. In this way, Puranas help us very much. Say, I just give you and Yoga Maya and all those things are explained. Pumamscha. These are the two aspects, some of the verses which are there found. And then Bhagavata. Brahma asks her, Nakim tvam samartasi vishwam vidhatum. Are you not competent to create the whole Vishwa? Drisaiva asu sarvam chaturdha vibhaktam. That is, the world is divided into four, namely Udbija, Svedaja, Andaja, Jarayuja, etc. The four types of world you can create. And that being the case, Vinodarthamevam vidhimmam vidhaya. You have created me, that is me Brahma as the creator, Vinodartham, for your play. So your play, you are creating me. And Adisarge Kiledam Karoshiti Kamam. Adisarge, from the first creation, you have created me and it is your Vinoda. Then, in this way, 5th skanda, 41st verse, all those things are explained. How the different concepts are there, etc. I am not quoting, because if I start quoting, already we have come to 4:30. That is, I am crossing my limit. 1 or 2 verses alone. Na mithya vedavakyam. I think you can understand. Kalpaniyam kadachana. Vedavakyam, that is, we should not think or we should not understand Vedic sentences are wrong. Mithya. That they are saying something what is called false. That being the case, virodhopi atra virodaha. You and your ashraya is there, but you say you are one, but still there is no two. So virodaha. So ekameva advitiyam vada brahma. How it is ekameva advitiyam? She says, sa kim tvam va pyasau va kim. Are you one, or is he alone one, or both of you one, or both of you different? Then she says, Sadaikatvam na bedosti. I close it here. Sadaikatvam na bedosti. Sat is only one. Na bedosti. There is absolutely no difference at all. Sarvadaiva mamasyacha. Sarvada, always. Past, present and future. Before creation, after creation, as you find it in Chandogya Upanishad. That is everywhere, even during creation. Yosau, Saham, Aham, Yosau. He is me and me is he. There is absolutely no difference. Bedosti Mati Vibhramat. Those who find difference is Mati Vibhramat, is confusion. Bedo Utpatti Kale Vai. Because when there is creation, at the time of creation, without Utpatti, at the time of Utpatti, without Beda, there cannot be. Sarge Sati Kim Bedaha Syat. So how can there be? So this is only that much. This is how she has described. And of course, Jnana Kriya Sakti and all those things. And I thank all of you for your patient listening. And I offer my salutation and prostrations to Pujya Sri Anna Subramania Iyer, who had in a way mentored me also. And I thank the people who have created this endowment. And of course, even though I also happen to be the president of Sanskrit Academy and inviting me myself, I cannot thank myself, but anyway, I thank the authorities of Kuppuswami Sastri Research Institute for inviting me to offer my lecture here. And to the extent possible, now he said, I am appointed as Sastra Chulamani lecturer. To the extent possible, I have taught some sections of Yoga Vasishta and Vichara Sagara and 1 or 2 other books also under the scheme of Anna Subramania chair. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir. Now it is our present duty to honor Professor Srinivasan on behalf of the Kuppuswami Sastri Research Institute and the Sanskrit Academy Madras. We would like to honor Professor Srinivasan, Sri Atreya, Swaham. Thank you, sir. Now I request Professor DEVI BHAGAVATAM to come and propose vote of thanks.
Sri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Usually Dr. SRINIVASAN used to propose vote of thanks, supplementing the views of the speaker. And today I don't have anything to add to his speech, except some parallel ideas. As Professor was saying, Srimad Bhagavata and Devi Mahatmya, or Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, two seem to be similar, because the first verse of the Devi Mahatmyam also has that Gayatri mantra, and I was told that Srimad Bhagavatam also has that Gayatri mantra as Janmadhyasya Yatonvaya Ditaradas Charthesh Vabhignya Swarat Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikaviye Mukhyanti Yet Suryaha Tejo Vari Mudam Yatha Vinimayo Yatrat Trisargo Mrisha Dhamna Svena Sada Nirastakohakam Satyam Param Dhimahi. And we have that cue there, Dhimahi. As you were saying, Dhiyo Naf Prachodayat. That Gayatri mantra Dhimahi is also there in Bhagavata, and this was mentioned by Nochur Venkatrama Iyer when he was presiding here on the Narayaniyam study group. And I think this Devi Mahatmyam has got some parallel with regard to that Durga Chandrakala Stuti. So, sir, Appaya Dikshita has got some influence over this Devi Mahatmya, because of which he has composed that Durga Chandrakala Stuti, which is just an essence of this Devi Mahatmya. In condensing the Devi Mahatmya, all the Charitras in 17 verses, he says in the last verse, Ratrim Prapadya iti Janana Prapannan. There he makes a reference to Rigveda mantra. That Ratrim Prapadya is there in the Saptashati Patha also, that is known as Vaikritika Rahasya or some Prakritika Rahasya. And with there are some six riks in the Ratri Sukta. And this particular Ratri Sukta is mentioned by Appaya Dikshita also, quoting Samavidhana Brahmana. So there, this idea comes. I think that Appaya Dikshita must have been influenced by this Devi Mahatmya, because all the stories seem to be similar, and the way how he has constructed the Durga Chandrakala Stuti also seem to appear that it is in the line of Devi Mahatmya. Anyway, thank you very much, sir. I take this opportunity to thank your wonderful lecture. Thank you for the wonderful lecture. And nothing is there to add. Of course, I don't know anything to add there. And I take this opportunity to thank Sri Atreya sir and the Sishyas of Anna Subramania here, who had made this endowment and possible. And this endowment gives chances to have some classes. And I thank the Sishyas of Anna Subramania here, and thank you one and all for your patient hearing. Thank you very much. And we are going to have the 25th this October, the lecture by Dr. Mahadevan on Appaya Dikshita to celebrate the Appaya Dikshita Day. Thank you.